It is well after 9 o'clock. Sorry for the delay, but let's make it worth your while. We'll skip some of the pleasantries and we will switch to Studio 8 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, there we go. Folks, thanks for waiting. I won't tell you what happened. Okay, everything's fine. It's that time. Well, let's see. It is, and I look at my calendar, the second Wednesday of the month, and that is a great time to bring on Lori Hayes, who was with us last month. I forget what you told us last month, but you must love the beach. You went to the beach just to make that promo video, didn't you?
I went there to do my edits, but sure, why not?
Well, okay. For some people, I guess, that just kind of, does the salt air kind of clear your head or something like that? Is that the deal?
Definitely. I like to say that it feeds my soul and it enhances my creativity for sure. Although I was just editing, I was writing, so editing was harder.
Okay. I have no idea. Lori, I did watch your promo, and I was glad you know, it's a little early to be reflecting on or introspecting on this year so that we can make New Year's resolutions for 2021. But given the way it's gone, maybe we should start now.
You know, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I think that you should just make them throughout the year and just keep them all year long. So I never, ever do that anyway. So why not start now and just keep updating my goals, right?
I think most of us would agree we have been pummeled this year, and I'll rejoice and say for the most part, it hasn't had much impact on my life, and in some ways, it's impacted it positively. And I know you find that hard to believe, but working at home for my wife saves a lot of money and a lot of time. So that's good. But for a lot of people, this has been a real challenge. I've been challenged because without events to video, well, people don't pay to do that. But how do we regroup? How do we maintain a good attitude?
Well, what I do when I start feeling stressful, I'm sort of a frontline worker. So I find that the stress can really get to me just wearing a mask 8 or 9 hours a day. You think that it doesn't impact you, but then all of a sudden it catches up with you, and then you realize that you're really stressed out. So I like to just hit the refresh button, and you know, I decided to go to the beach. That kind of clears my mind and just gives me like a feeling of a fresh start. So that's what I did over this past week, and I didn't realize how stressed out I actually was. And it took me about 3 days to unwind. Normally, as soon as I drive over the causeway, you know, I'm in relaxation mode. But this time it took me 3 days. I even had to use my inhaler, which I only use maybe once a year. I have asthma. I had to use it 3 days in a row around the clock. So finally I just was able to just let it all go. And you know, I'm working full time. I have teenagers. I'm also working full time editing my book because I had a 3-month deadline to pretty much rewrite it from third person to first person. Mm-hmm. And it just started to get to me, I guess. So
well, if you're you know, huffing and puffing on an inhaler, your body is probably trying to tell you something. But folks, you heard Lori say going to the beach helps. Now, for you folks in Nebraska, you're out of luck. Go to the lake. I don't know.
Just getting outside and hiking or kayaking like I like to do, you know, that definitely helps. And, you know, and one thing I learned too, I'm learning that the more you start to achieve success, I look around and the people around me are used to the old Lori or the script that they think I belong to. Mm-hmm. And I have some difficulty with some of my what I thought we're friends, they're not being supportive with, you know, my new perceived success, if you want to say. I've come from a broken, hurtful past, and I've done a lot to overcome things. And I've let people go through the process. Sometimes that's very painful, but you have to let go to move forward sometimes. And I've just noticed a whole batch of new people not accepting maybe where I'm at in my life right now. It's been interesting. So that's another added layer of stress. But I actually think COVID has just been really hard on a lot of people, and a lot of people aren't handling it well, and a lot of people are stressed out. So I'm just finding that their normal personalities may not be there, that they're just stressed out. And if they see somebody flourishing or somebody who's happy or being successful this year, it seems like they resent that maybe. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, let's dive there. Let's take a deep dive, as you would say. Now, one of the things that I try to caution others, when you start doing something like this, publishing, getting on, internet, doing live broadcast, a lot of times what drives people to do that is they want attention. Now, I don't think writers are particularly prone to that. Would you put yourself in that category? Okay.
No,
No, that's not the problem. I didn't think it was. However,
really.
when you start getting your name out there, building your platform, getting out in the public more, you're going to get more attention. And if you don't have some accountability with yourself, or an accountability partner preferably, to help you stay grounded. So look at your own heart, Lori, and now look back and say, are you in your heart the same Lori that you were in January?
I feel like my heart is bigger.
Okay.
And I feel like sometimes when you're happy or you're lighthearted, or you have that spirit in you, that the people who don't align with you start clashing with you, or they disappear out of your life, or they try to stop you, or they tell you things like, you can't do this, or and what I'm learning is just to persevere and to keep going and to keep your spirit strong despite what is going on around you. Just keep reaching dreams and keep trying to go in the direction that you're going.
Let's turn the binoculars around and look through it the other way. Suppose that one of your friends met with some success and began moving down a path. Would you feel left behind? Would you feel any envy?
No, I would feel like that is awesome. I'd want to know what their secret is, maybe, but encouraging, and I would wholeheartedly be in there with them and cheering them on.
That Bible verse comes to my mind. It says that we should share our joys and our sorrows.
Right.
So if one of your friends is experiencing joy, well, that should give you joy. If one of your friends is experiencing sorrow, that should give you, well, sorrow. So if you think you're okay, but be aware, I guess, they didn't tell you, oh man, when you publish your book, you're going to lose all your friends. Wow.
I do actually have surrounded myself with a very strong support team, and you do start to weed out who your friends are and who your friends really aren't. But I have been weeding out for a while now and building my support team. So I'm finding that I have more supportive people around me. But I was warned about this when I signed these contracts that this might happen. And, and I have some other things that are very positive going on in my life that I can't talk about yet. But those are the things that are really stirring it up, combined with everything else. So I'm just blaming it on 2020 because I just think a lot of people are in a really bad place mentally, and you know, I guess I'm trying to encourage everybody to try to step away from the stress and try to release some of this tension, and if they're experiencing that. And my kids are doing hybrid schooling, so they go to school on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is clean of the school, so everybody's at home. Thursday and Friday, the other half of the school goes. And one thing that I keep trying to pay attention to is that it is stressful going to school every single day, going through the checkpoint, getting your temperature taken, wearing a mask all day. I mean, I know that firsthand because I'm in the healthcare field. Mm-hmm. And so one thing really hard to watch out for is that it's not creeping up on them without them realizing it. So I'm trying to instill some fun in their life so that maybe I can ward that off. And if people in general were at least aware of it and tried to ward it off before it gets too serious, it definitely helps. Like I said, going to the beach, just that helped a lot.
Well, just in the short time we've worked together, Lori, I know that you intentionally take what I used to call a mental health break. Go to the beach, go find somewhere that brings you peace. I saw it in the chat room, find your quiet place, find your happy place. My wife tells me when I get sleep deprived, I kind of burn the candle at both ends and get sleep deprived, I get grumpy. I don't notice that, but I guess she does. I know that when I'm on social media doing research, there's so much, we're just being pounded with negative news all the time. Now, by the way, that didn't start in 2020, but I'm going to let my guard down a little bit here. When I've had it and I just want to relax, I go to thedodo.com. The DODO. It's animal videos.
Okay.
Dogs, dolphins, and it reminds me that God is still very much in charge. Just get your focus off of all that calamity, all that negative, all that fear, all that, when you're gripping your pen and your fingerprints are in the metal shield, maybe it's time to slow down a little bit. Just go watch the dodo.
Definitely. I do think that it is election year. We have the COVID thing going on. And some people, maybe it's not affecting. It probably depends on where you live in the country, and if you live out in the country or in the city. Here, it's been pretty intense because we're under mandatory mask that we have to wear, and we're still in phase 2.5. So, I finally had to stop watching election stuff, just and Facebook, even if I'm kind of curious as to what they're saying, I don't read it. And in fact, I'm knee deep into edits. I have 10 pages left, but I don't really have time to get on Facebook that much anymore. So I'm just trying to limit my social media. And I was just getting overwhelmed, and I didn't even realize, and just the negativity and the hate that's going on. Mm-hmm. And I had to just hit the pause and stop watching it. And a lot too.
Well, Lori, I'm a little older than you are, but there was a day when Republicans and Democrats weren't that different. We were definitely different, but it wasn't like enemies. You know what I'm saying? We have gotten into a world that's very polarized and is being very torn. And it seems like we're so polarized at this point that there is no middle ground. And I think this is creating stress for a lot of people. Not only, do they have to make this decision, but now they see others who they have considered friends. And now they begin to question, well, what kind of friend is that would want so-and-so elected, If we don't check this, we're going to really be in war.
Right. I'm wondering what state we're going to be in after the elections. I keep thinking, maybe it'll all be over with, but I'm not so sure about that.
Not this time. I don't. I'm afraid that. So, between now and then, I think, folks, we need to heed what Lori is saying and doing, because Lori, you have a lot of stress. You're a full time mom. You're editing full time. You're working full time. Every now and then, you just got to pull the plug and say, I need some time for me. But yet, when you do this, you go edit.
Well, I made time to play as well. We went horseback riding on the beach. Every day I walked a couple of miles on the beach, once or twice. I edited out on the back porch with the waves crashing. I mean, it was a beautiful view. I tried to incorporate as much play as I could and tried to get my work done at the same time. But I did fall behind, but I had worked in enough leeway that, I mean, I'll still get finished on time. Thank goodness, though, that I had built that in. And that's another point, too, not to make your schedule so tight that you have no leeway. Because I got out, I had to take a couple of days where I couldn't even pick up my manuscript. I couldn't even work on it at all. I had to stop. And that was okay. Thankfully, I had that leeway there.
Do you have this problem that when I have something to do, I do want to relax. I do want to have fun, but I literally cannot until I accomplish what I've set out to do. Recently, my wife wanted to go watch the leaves turn, go on a little trip. I said, no, go, you and Shelby go. I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't even be good company. You ever have that problem?
I used to, but I don't anymore. And I've been learning how to live in the moment more. And a lot of times I live in my head, but I have to bring myself back to the moment and just smell the brine on the air or watch the fall. Well, we don't really have fall leaves here yet, but just trying to absorb the sunshine or the moment. And I have to make myself remember to do that. But I've gotten really good at having a work-play balance. It just kind of got out of control because I have all these things I have to do by a certain date. But you still have to incorporate some kind of play in there, and quality time with your spouse, like you, not me. I don't have one. But just spending time just trying to just do a dump, a mind dump, and get rid of all that stuff. And sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I have trouble going back to sleep, but I stopped that. And I also started doing like prayerful meditation. That really helped. Just quieting your mind.
I have trouble finding time to sleep. How do you manage rest?
I try to get 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night. So I usually go to bed. This is almost my bedtime. I usually go to bed somewhere between 9:30 and 10. And I try to set my 6:15 so I can get up and work on my manuscript. But this morning I thought, you know what, I'm tired. And I thought it's okay to set my alarm for 7. I don't have to be working until 9. I still got to work on my manuscript some. Not as much as I wanted, but it's okay to sleep in later if you need to, and it's okay to go to bed earlier if you can just turn your mind off. And I like to listen to YouTube videos or music sometimes just to kind of relax me.
If I got 4 hours of sleep, I'd probably wake up with a sore back. I don't get, I can't even connect with what you're talking about. But here's the funny thing. About 2 weeks or so, I'll sleep 18, 19, and 20 hours. My body will just crash, and then I wake up feeling guilty. Now, look how much work's piled up, while I was sleeping, and there just aren't enough hours in the day. But folks, I don't think that God has called us to a life of frustration and worry and anxiety. I believe that God has called us to a life of fulfillment and purpose. And I feel good about purpose, but fulfillment always seems to be just a little bit out of reach, and I keep doubling down and keep doubling down, and it's tough. when you get the edits done, what's the next step?
I have another book due January 25th. But I don't think the edits will be as extensive because it's already in first person, and it was a huge project to change it from third person to first person. And I agree with it. It made the book amazing in my mind. I love it, and I naturally write first person anyway. I was trying to make myself write third person. So the decision to do that was outstanding, and I'm really glad that we're doing that. But the second book is already in first. So, and whatever I change in the first book will change a little bit in the second book, but I don't think it'll be near as extensive.
Well, 2021 is bringing promising things. I hope that we will be relieved of some of the political hysteria and COVID hysteria and so forth. And all right, so the next time we see you, the edits will be done, right?
Yes, they're due October 25th, so
Yes.
I will definitely make that. And I think I'm going to take a whole entire week off and do absolutely no writing, and then I'll get back to it, and I'll be refreshed again for the next one.
Sounds like a good one.
But I'm loving, like I said before, I love having a deadline, and I love traditional publishing. I'm so excited, and once I get through these final edits, then I'll just have to celebrate.
I think you should, and we will celebrate with you, Lori. We are so proud of you, and thanks for sharing, because I think what you have shared, I think we're all able to connect with that, and we appreciate your advice. Can't wait to hear what you've got next month when that book's behind you. We'll take a little break, and we'll see you then.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lori. PJNet TV is on the air. There you see the beautiful view of the Eagle's Nest where I perch at this time. Folks, we ran a little bit late because we started a little bit late. Michelle Medlock Adams will be with us very soon. I don't think we'll get her in quite at the bottom of the hour, but as soon as we can get everything torn down and rebuilt, folks, don't leave. The fun is only beginning. Before I leave, think about these two things. What is the boldest thing that you've ever done for Jesus Christ? And then ask, when was that? I hope you won't be satisfied with either answer.